in the draft.
No doubt.
You got Amari Cooper. You got Michael Gallup. You just kicked out Zach Martin to the right tackle. And all you favored by 3 at home on Thanksgiving? Come on. They should be favored by at least a touchdown.
What happened the last time these teams played?
No, I don't talk about they weren't playing. I thought they were playing so well. Are they playing well with this talent?
Well, they just won one game for the first time in like 6 months.
And you came out here riding the parade like you'd won the Super Bowl.
I was just happy. It's been a long time.
I love Washington's defense. They invested a lot of money on that defensive line.
Thank you.
The number 2 pick, Chase Young. They got Payne and Allen within the teens. Kerrigan within the team. Sweat was high 20s. So they invested a lot of money. But here's the thing. If the Cowboys, if you can't block that front, and they couldn't last time they played, I believe you will see a heavy dose of Zeke. I believe you will run the football. They're going to run the football. Skip, they can't get into a passing situation because those guys will come hunt, and Andy Dalton is not mobile. So, yeah, he can make a sidestep here or there, but they'll chase him down. They have a very good defensive line. I'm looking at the injury report. McLaren, Gibson, both dealing with ankle injuries. So I thought the Cowboys were going to be favored by, I would probably say it's somewhere between 6, a touchdown. Let's just go with a touchdown. I thought that. But 3 points, it seems low to me, considering. Skip, maybe I'm just the only one, but every time Alex Smith dropped back to pass, I find myself doing something because I'm just afraid he's going to get hit. It's just hard for me to watch.
Okay. I'm shocked that you're shocked by this point spread because I thought it was going to be the other way. I always tell you I try to pick it, or I do pick it before I look at the spread. I thought it would be pick 'em. I thought they would just say even Steven with no home field 3-point advantage.
No.
I'll tell you why. Because Washington kicked this team's tail not that long ago. It was October 25th, and it was a wipeout. It was 26-3, and Washington ran for 208 yards. It was by far, to me, the worst game Dallas has played all year. It was
Where's in Arizona?
It was a mutiny game. Yeah,
okay.
Because Arizona's way better than Washington is to me. Way more explosive on offense. But the point is, Washington, to me, across the board on paper, is more talented than Dallas is. All told, looking at all 22.
No.
More talented. Well, you just listed the whole defensive front. My God.
Yeah, but look at the offensive front.
Okay. Well, look at, I looked at Pro Football Focus. They ranked Washington's offensive line #1 last week. They said they were by far the best offensive line.
What did I keep telling you about that? I'd have been valedictorian if I'd had anybody from Pro Football Focus grading my papers in high school.
So
I'd have went to Vanderbilt.
Now you're ripping Pro Football Focus.
I'd have went to Vanderbilt. I should have went to Vanderbilt anyway. But they weren't deserving of my talent.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could have gotten, we had this little school across the street called Peabody, and you could have gone to Peabody and played football at Vanderbilt. We would have been happy. We needed you.
I know.
Okay. Here's the point. Back to Pro Football Focus. Let's just look at what just happened. The Minnesota Vikings defense is ranked 21st overall by Pro Football Focus. And that's about where they are.
Yes.
Okay. My team just scored 31 points. I'm I'm still giddy. I'm on a high.
Right.
Andy Dalton and company scored 31. You want to talk about a sight for sore eyes?
Right.
But it was the Vikings, and he had time.
Right.
They did not put much, if any, heat on him. Okay, 21st overall defense. They ranked the Redskins. I grew up calling them Redskins. The football team, 7th best overall on defense. 7th best. And you know what? I will buy into that. Okay. I think they're that good because I look at the front. Ryan Kerrigan, he doesn't even get in the rotation much anymore, and he was the 16th overall pick in the draft.
2011.
And then here we go down the line. Jonathan Allen was 17th overall. Deron Payne, both from Bama, 3rd overall.
13th.
I think he's
13th.
13th overall. Montez Sweat, 26th overall. Obviously, Chase Young was 2nd overall and had his best game, albeit against the Bengals last week. And then Bostic, who blew up my quarterback, cheap shot at him, knocked him out of the game, was a 2nd-round pick. Ronald Darby was a 2nd-round pick at corner. And
Landon Collins.
Yeah, and guess who? A guy named Tim Settle made Pro Football Focus first team all week. You know, each week they do a first team. He was all weekly first team, and he's listed as a backup defensive tackle. and he came in and wreaked havoc on the Bungles, if you want to call them the Bungles, but he's in the rotation. Well, that's a hellacious front with so many high picks, and their offensive line has a bunch of high picks, and Terry McLaurin, I know he's listed with an ankle, but he played really well against Cincinnati.
He's played well this year.
He's a 4.3 40, and he's their whole attack. They go to Terry McLaurin, and nobody seems to be able to stop him. And Antonio Gibson is a rookie, third-round pick out of Memphis, and he ran for 128 yards, by far his best all year against Dallas.
Yeah, McLaurin from Ohio State. Have you ever seen anybody from Ohio State that couldn't run?
No, I agree. Okay, so Alex Smith and Andy Dalton at this stage in age, are they pretty much
I would lean a little bit toward. If Alex Smith hadn't had that injury, I would say Alex Smith was a little better because he's a little bit more mobile. Skip, you remember Alex Smith used to move. He was really, really mobile.
Yeah. Well, he ran and he was a running quarterback at Utah for Urban Meyer.
And remember, he had the game-winning touchdown in the playoff game against the Saints.
So he's played in 4 games, and his QBR average before is 46. So it's below. It's scale 0 to 100.
So that ain't good, is it?
It's just below average. Okay. So that's about how he has played. And yet, when Joe Burrow got knocked out of the game against Cincinnati, Cincinnati was actually leading in the third quarter 9-7.
Yes.
And they lost 20-9.
Right.
Okay. So to me, Washington has underachieved all year because they've won 3 games. They beat Philly in the opener.
Right.
They beat
coming from 17 down. They were down 17.
Okay. And they beat Dallas.
Here's the thing, though. I think if they had gotten better quarterback play, they might have had a better record than what they have. I think their defense has played well enough for them to be better. They have some. They're not loaded with offensive skill players, but I think the quarterback, Haskins and the kid that he brought from Carolina, I think Allen and Kyle Allen, and now Smith. Skip, if they can get consistent quarterback play, they can make a run at this thing. But like I said, this division is so tacky, so bad. I mean, somebody's going to win this division with 6 games. Okay. And they're going to lose the first round because they're going to end up seeing Seattle, Arizona, Tampa Bay. They're going to end up seeing someone like that because they're going to have a home game, and one of these teams is going to be a wild card, and they're going to come to your building and beat the brakes off you.
All right, so what do we see Sunday at Minnesota? My team came out for the first time all year. In fact, for the first time maybe in 2 years, and played their tails off.
They did.
Like they were committed to playing harder than the Vikings were at home. And the Vikings had just won 3 straight games. Well, again, Mike McCarthy is taking credit for it with what you so appropriately dismissed yesterday. It was the watermelon incident, as we're going to call it. But again, he's taking credit for motivating them with some corny, goofy, stupid, out of bounds watermelon bursting that they did.
Skip, but if you look at Minnesota, what could Minnesota was always been known for? Getting after the quarterback. You go back to the Purple People Eaters and come back to Johnny Randall and Henry Thomas and Chris Dolman, Keith Millard, Noga. They've always been able to get after the quarterback. Remember, they had Everson Griffin, Linval Joseph, Danielle Hunter. They could always get after the quarterback.
They're all gone.
Danielle Hunter's on IR.
Yep.
Let Linval Joseph and Griffin go in free agency. So now they can't generate that same type of pressure.
I agree.
Well, if you can't generate pressure on a quarterback, I don't care who the quarterback is. They'll pick you apart.
Okay.
And now you let them run the football like they ran it?
I assume Washington will generate lots of pressure.
Oh, yeah, Jack gonna come.
Okay.
Man, look, you and I both know I played against Jack. I was in Baltimore
Jack
when
Del
he was
Rio.
there. Jack Del Rio, yeah. He was the D coordinator. I know Jack. Jack gonna come get you.
Okay, so now it's about motivation. Surely my team doesn't need some stupid little shtick that the head coach does to get ready for this game, because this is your arch rival who just beat the snot out of you at Washington, humiliated you, embarrassed you just a month ago at Washington.
Yes.
So on a short week, you had an incident yesterday where your strength and conditioning coach, Marcus Paul, God bless him, I'm knocking on wood for him, needed to be rushed to the hospital, so they had to cancel practice. Do I think that's it's a terrible thing for Marcus Paul's family, but is it a bad thing for the football team or the Dallas team? Probably not. It's a short week. I'm sure they can regroup and maybe.
The only motivation you need, I don't know if they're going to probably have walkthroughs today. When they go to the blackboard, he needs to put first place division and walk out of the room. That's all. That's it on the line, Skip. As bad as we play, we win this game, we in first.
You got to feel pretty good about yourselves coming off that game in Minnesota.
Well, Skip, all you had to do was feel good about yourself being in this division. Nobody was running. If somebody was 7-0, or they played 10 games. Somebody was 8-1, 8-2, something like that. Skip, you're like, man, we really got our work cut out for us.
Here's what I'm clinging to: of all the NFC least teams, what is the most impressive win all year by any of the least teams? All four. What's the most impressive win? It's got to be Dallas at Minnesota. Got to be.
Well, considering that Minnesota lost to Atlanta, I don't know if I'm really ready to go
They
there.
had just blown Green Bay off its field.
But come on, Skip. Yeah. Green Bay defense leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Your day coming.
The Eagles won at San Francisco, but they were already starting to be decimated.
Your day coming. Okay. I just want you to know.
Your day is coming Friday. Can't wait for Friday on the show.
I bet that turkey don't taste the same when you watch them put foots in you. It ain't gonna taste the same. You like Ernestine, I don't want no more. I'm full.
I will have already eaten it. Now, whether it stays down or not, that's a whole other issue. Yep.
It's so interesting, Skip, that you're